Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Blue-Black Kaito Control. We have with us Mockingbird. I got 2 copies of that in this deck. Mockingbird's a cool new card that can come in as a copy of a creature that's already on the table, and it has flying. And this is a blue card that pitches to force. At very least, it comes in as a 1/1 flyer, which is pretty good with Kaito because it's an evasive creature that can attack in and play out Kaito. So it's not like a traditional clone type card where it just does nothing if there's nothing to copy. It does have stats on its own. And those stats, a 1/1 flying creature for 1 blue, it's not terrible. It's like basically on rate. So complementing these cards, we have the 4 Baleful Strix, 4 Orcish Bowmasters, 4 Tamiyo, and 2 Brazen Borrowers as our threat suite. In terms of disruption, we've got 2 main deck Nile Spellbombs, something I believe very heavily in right now. We have the 4 Forces, of course, the 4 Wastelands. We have 4 Thoughtseize. I think Thoughtseize is really good right now. I think Daze is not so good right now, but we do have the cheeky one of Daze that can sometimes surprise our opponents who think we're not playing Daze because we're playing a control deck. We do have all 4 Wastelands, and I do believe that you should play some number of Wastelands in your control decks because there are a lot of things like Cavernous Souls, Urza's Saga that you just can't interact with without a Wasteland. So we're rocking those, and we still have basically the perfect blue-black tempo mana base intact with 8 fetches and 2 basics and 4 duels and a Surveil land. So very excited about that. In the side, we have anti-Eldrazi tech in Consignments to Memory and Harbinger. We have anti-Moon Stompy in Hydroblast and Force Negation. And Dismember, which is good against Reanimator, and it's also very good against a lot of Magus to the Moon type decks. It's also good against Triumph of St. Catherine. It does a lot, and it's just a generic removal spell we can add if we need a 5th removal spell in our deck. We have Turok, Dread Cantor, which is great against white opponents, and pairs well with Kaito. Imagine hemming somebody every turn when you can only do it a couple times with Kaito. But I did actually get a video where I was Kaitoing into Kaito and kept using the loyalty triggers. It was really fun. And then of course we have the obligatory 2 Grafdigger's Cage. In my humble opinion, you should be playing 4 Graveyard Hate cards for most decks if you're serious about being able to beat blue-black tempo or blue-black Reanimator, which is the best deck in the meta. As always, we're going to play a full 5 rounds. It'll be a lot of fun. I encourage you to leave comments with timestamps if you have feedback on my play or questions about decisions I made. See you in round 1. Round 1, we are up against hARAIN, who is a frequent player of decks that involve Stifle Knot. So I think this hand is an okay keep. It's great if they don't Wasteland us. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to Underground Sea and I'm going to Thoughtseize, and I'm going to hope that they don't kill us. I mean, this has too much going on here for me to throw it back. The other option, I can't get a basic island with that duel. I'm just going to be bold and hope that they're on a combo deck. All right. They are on a tempo deck. They don't have Wasteland yet. I think the simplest thing to do here, Dark Ritual into Barrowgoyf would be pretty backbreaking. So if we take Daze, we prevent that. We also have the ability to just push the Barrowgoyf if that's what they want to do. My instinct is probably to just take the Dark Ritual and then we can just Daze their Thoughtseize. Because Dark Ritual could power out a lot of stuff. If they Daze back, that's okay. I hope that's the right decision. I'm just going to get them to burn their Daze. I don't even care. I just don't want their Daze in their hand because we only have 1 land. But if I took the Daze, it would tell them immediately that we didn't have anything else going on. They may not notice that we only have 1 land here because a lot of times they're focused on what dangerous spells we have and trying to figure out what we're on. Ponder is definitely the right take here in my humble opinion. But they do have a Barrowgoyf in their hand that they are going to work toward. So their hand is Underground Sea. And they took the Tamiyo. Interesting. Well, I'm going to go ahead and ponder here. Trying to set up my next land. Baleful Strix is great for that purpose. I don't really want any of these cards. I'm going to shuffle this. I mean, those cards were fine, but we really need land. Because if they just rip, they're almost certainly playing 4 Wastelands. So if they find one, we're in the dirt. Okay, Undercity Sewer, that's a new draw. All right, land, please. Yeah, that's not the land we're looking for, but we can surprise them. Yeah, I'll just play it out. And we have Bowmasters. And they probably have Bowmasters. I really want to just ping something here. Like if they cantrip. As a control deck, I think it's a mistake to play out the Bowmaster here. I'm just going to chill. I'm not going to beat them down. That's not how this works. Go ahead and do this. Take their Baraglyph. Turn before they're able to cast it. Okay, so they have a Douthie as well. Douthie is easier to push than Baraglyph, so I think we should take that and we just play around the Force Negation. Their hand's not particularly strong. They could find a Reanimate though, and that would be pretty scary. I mean, Wasteland still crushes me. They find it. That's fine. Okay, so their hand is Force Negation unknown. Unfortunately, they can now pay mana for the Force Negation. Land, please. Oh, no. Yeah, we could just do it 2 turns in a row, actually. I think it's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and do it now, and I'm going to hope that they burn a Force Negation on it. Okay, they didn't care that much about it. That's great. So we're still in a bad situation land-wise, but they have a lot of lands. Another Douthie's fine. I can just push that again. And I'm intentionally pushing into Force Negation because... Oh, wow. Yeah, and if they force here, that's fine because I got another one lined up. They don't? Okay. So they have a lot of scary creatures they could be playing here. They are playing a very creature-heavy build. Wow, land. Okay. All right, please give me a land. I want to get this Strix into play so badly. I'm just going to chill and hope that they play a cantrip. I will play a Bowmasters at this point since we're just sitting here doing nothing. Oh, that was... Yeah, that's fine. I think I'm going to go ahead and poke it now. They poke me, and then I'm just going to go ahead and poke them. The reason is I don't want them to have Hardcast Force up. And I feel comfortable doing that because I have Bowmaster Supremacy. Normally I would not be so cavalier and aggressive with it. Borrower just gets rid of this token completely. They could Force Negation it. I am here for that. Am I though? It's a 1-for-1. I want to be able to attack in. I'm just so frustrated. My deck hasn't given me another land. They haven't wasted, like at any point if they found a Wasteland, we'd be completely screwed. And they could still find one to screw us. I don't think this borrower... I'm just going to attack with just the Orc Army. Actually, I'm not going to attack. No, I'm going to attack and see if they take the trade. If they attack, then I can attack with both. And then I'm kind of winning the race. But then they may just attack once and then not attack. Kind of like the tit for tat thing. When I attack, they attack. When I don't, they don't. They're choosing not to attack. Okay. I am going to attack again. I'm not going to play with this Bowmaster because I need to have Bowmaster Supremacy. I mean, technically I have a Fatal Push, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, that worked. Double Bowmaster Supremacy. Cantrips are going to be very painful for them. Baraglyph would still be a pain, but we have Wasteland and Fatal Push. And then we have Force Negation. Okay, we found the land. This is great. I'm going to go ahead and attack in first, just to minimize the amount of information they have. Okay, and I think if they had the Bowmaster, that would have elicited it. So now I'm going to go ahead and Strix. Strix should be a very good card against their deck. I think at this point, we go ahead and get the non-basic just to make sure they can't screw us off a color. Tom is great. We have lots of Clue Kraken mana thanks to these Wastelands that we've held disciplined. If you hear piano in the background, my kids are home from school and they love playing. Yeah, you are welcome to brainstorm here. Good game. I don't know if they just did that on purpose or if they forgot that I had double Bowmaster, but yeah. Okay. MTGO is doing this again. Making everything gargantuan, ginormous, humongous. What are some other synonyms? Vast. Colossal. Okay, and it's not even letting me change the size. All right, let's change this up. Let's do list view. All right, list view, it works. Okay, so I think in this matchup, we don't know what they're on. Dismember comes in for sure. I think that is a good card. Nospabomb may not actually be that good. We didn't see Nethergoyf. They could be playing like bigger creatures. I think, yeah, maybe we just put in I think we use a very light touch here. All right. And it could be that now spell, maybe I do want to keep it in, but it doesn't do me any good. It's really just there for like graveyard-centric decks. We got very lucky last turn with the one lander. What are the odds we're going to get lucky again? I really do want to have a second land. I don't want to be just hoping. This feels a lot better. Let's put back... On the draw, Thoughtseize is not a spectacular card. I'm going to put back the Force. If I can Mockingbird and like get Bowmaster Supremacy that way, that'll feel so good. Dark Rit. Oh, Thoughtseize. Yeah, that's fine. They probably take... Oh, they didn't take my Mockingbird. Interesting. All right, let's chill. I can Surveil here, and I think I probably will. I don't think playing on basics is necessary. I think they'd be crazy if they brought in that one card, Harbinger. But they have so many... They may have like a lot of bad cards, so maybe it makes sense. I mean, in theory, I could bring out Thoughtseize, but then Thoughtseize did get Thoughtseize, so that's an endorsement of Thoughtseize right there. Thoughtseizing me again. I think I just let this happen. No, my hand doesn't matter. What matters is these lands. These lands are going to be so key. Any 1-for-1, I can sustain it. Okay, they took the Force. That's great news for us. What on earth do they have that they're... Okay, well, I'm going to Surveil. I mean, they could have like 2 Wastelands in their hand and we could be screwed, but I'm not going to throw away land here. That's great. All right. Just waiting for Kaito to arrive. They know we have a Daze, so they're going to be able to play around that. I think they have Bowmasters, and I think it'd be foolish to play into it. I'm just going to chill and be super duper patient. I think we can Ponder to bait their Bowmaster. Wow, Kaito. Kaito's insane, of course. Tamiya's also fine. These are all good cards, but we really do want land. But we're also just chilling. Yeah, we can't really make use of any of these. I think that this is a shuffle. I could have taken one of those, but yeah. Yeah, I'm happy that I ended up with this. They don't know that we drew the Bowmasters, but Mockingbird does deal with Bowmasters, and they should know that. Okay, so they are on a graveyard strategy. Now I feel pretty dumb for boarding out my thing. Gosh, Archon or Cruelty. No! Is there any way we can... Here's what I think we do. We let them do this, and then we take the damage. I'm going to discard Fatal Push. Yeah, I'll discard Fatal Push. And then end step, I am going to Bowmasters here. Okay. I had no idea they were just on Reanimator. That's boring. Okay. Let's go ahead and just get non-basics here. I don't think it'll matter. And I am going to attempt to Bowmaster them, which is probably just going to get dazed. But we need to get something on the table because we need to be able to Kaito if we draw Kaito. Kaito can stun this and we can still win if we draw Kaito exactly. We could potentially survive a turn cycle. I think we just borrow this back to hand. I want to take that Force very badly. But we need to get this out of play immediately. Yep. No guts, no glory. They didn't daze that, so maybe they don't have a daze. I'm still alive. They're at 7, so they can't even conveniently reanimate it. Mockingbird can upper clock. Whoa, they scooped. We beat Reanimator. What a great way to open the match, the league. All right, see you in round 2. Round 2, we're up against Black Lotus Knight. I like that name. We're on the draw. They've opted to keep 7. Also a likely Reanimator player. Yeah, I think we keep this. This is a really good all-around hand. That day, the one of days, if we actually daze something, it's going to completely warp their perception of what we're on, which is great. I love confusion and invoking it. Uh-oh, they're on this nonsense. Yeah, when they keep 7, I don't think they're on this. If you look at like their past behavior, they've been on other decks, not on this deck. This is the Dark Ritual. Oh, it's Thoughtseize. Okay. Well, they're going to see we don't have anything going on over here. I really hope this is like mono black aggro, but I don't think it is. Yeah. All right, we'll take a look at their deck. I'm not salty. I just don't like playing against this deck. I don't think it's healthy for there to be a deck like this in the format. Okay, let's take a look. And this deck, even if you come prepared with all your sideboard cards and stuff, they can also just get lucky. Let's see. So 1 packed, 2 packed, 3 packed, 4. Okay, they're on the pack strategy. They have 2 therapies, it looks like. They've already seen our hand. We're not like doing anything by keeping them up. Lively Dirge. This is a really bad card that it should not be legacy playable, but it makes sense within this shell, I guess. Search your library for a card and put it into your graveyard and then shuffle. So it's like a really expensive Entomb or a return up to 2 creature cards with total mana value 4. So this can be used, I guess, to, if you have just a ton of mana. I don't know how you'd ever have the mana for this, because it's like you're paying 4 mana to dread return something. But I guess you get 2 cards back, so like maybe I have no idea what that's good for. I guess we'll probably see in the subsequent rounds. They're not playing. Yeah, they are playing the Simian Spirit Guides. They use 1. This looks like a pretty stock list. Nothing jumps out. Let's see, 2 Poxwalkers. Yeah, aside from the Lively Dirge, which may not be stock, we have Memory Journey here. Yeah, we probably have the Jack-o'-lantern there. So we don't know what their last card is, but yeah, we can concede here. We'll assume that our opponent knows how to kill us from here. Okay. So didn't get to play Magic, unfortunately. Hopefully we will the next 2 games. Hopefully there will be 2 games. Man, if they're going to keep doing this, I hate to do this to you, but I'm just going to do this. It's just so much faster. I know there's like tiny text and everything, but Force of Negation comes in. Consigned Memory comes in. Grafdigger's Cage comes in. I'll try to get it to work. It's just like it's so laggy that drag this slider over. Okay, there it goes. Okay. So cards that are coming out. Fatal Push comes out. And Orcish Bowmaster is pretty terrible against them. It doesn't really do anything. They don't draw cards or anything, so it doesn't accomplish what we want it to accomplish. Baleful Strix is also terrible, but it does pitch to force. So now we effectively only have the Thoughtseize as our sole, and these artifacts as our sole non-blue permanents. I think we leave all the lands in to maximize likelihood of having keepable hands. Sometimes I do cut those, but I don't really like to cut those in this matchup. Let's go. This really comes down to, do we get like turn 1 Graveyard Hate plus like a force? This doesn't do it. I'm not going to keep a 0-lander even if it has 2 forces in it. This does it. This Knowledge Spellbomb is very important here. So I'm just going to plop it into play, and we can surveil to find a land. We can ponder. But this is kind of how you beat them, is with these types of cards. They could have, I'll put back, Wasteland is not necessarily bad. I might regret putting back a cantrip. Yeah, I'm just going to put back a cantrip. And a lot of times they're like, oh, okay, that's what you're doing. And they just scoop, and then they go to game 3 after they've tweaked their sideboards. But this is good because unless they have the card that they exile a bunch of cards from their hand, they got to keep 7 too, by the way. If they have Force of Vigor, then they stopped us. But I mean, they're playing this deck, so I presume that they run into this sort of stuff all the time, and they've adjusted their sideboard accordingly. Like, oh, blue-black, they always play Knowledge Spellbomb or something like that, right? Okay, they just manually yeeted that into the graveyard, which is kind of scary, because now they can reanimate. Yeah, and maybe they do that and then they have another one. I think higher likelihood of success if we just ponder, because we get 4 looks. Now we have a force, so we don't have to. They usually only play like 1 reanimate. So I don't want this land, but I'll take these blue cards. I'll take the force. So we don't have a plan to win is the problem here. I'm just going to force this. Then if they packed it, they're going to be in trouble. Yeah, I like the cards in our hand. I'm just going to do it like this. All right. Then we'll draw the Baleful Strix, which I'll deploy just to get a clock going, any sort of clock. Because this, sets us up for Kaito potentially. Strix coming in. I do waste their lands aggressively here. There's no reason to leave them with a land. Now we have Consign, which can stop the trigger, assuming that they can't get rid of this. They may have put their only, they only have 8 of these in their deck. Shocked or Bolted. Okay, Dark Root. Poxwalkers. Okay, they're going aggro. Well, we have a blocker, so that's fine. They're not going to beat us down. I will not allow it. I'm going to go ahead and ponder here. Yeah, I'll save this in case we get Tomio, because Tomio is really good against Poxwalkers. Okay. So we did get Tomio. These Thoughtseizes are pretty good. If we Thoughtseize, then we can be pretty confident when we block Poxwalkers that they're not going to have just some quick way to return it. I do want to get the Tomio out sooner rather than later because next turn I can brainstorm and then maybe, yeah, I can attack before I brainstorm. So I'm going to play Tomio this turn. I don't think we're going to need to consign. I could be wrong. I could eat my words. But we do need to get the show on the road, so to speak. Like, they don't give you forever. They give you tons of time to win, but you do have to close the game. Bolting themselves here? Yeah. This plan is not going to work, friend. At least I don't think it will. Yeah, we don't care about our graveyard too much. Poxwalkers comes in and we just block it. It's Death Touch. So they have to cast a card in their graveyard, which, yeah, they'd have to Cabal Therapy and then flash it back to get it back. So it's not trivial for them to get it back. So I'm going to start by attacking. I want the clue. I will just brainstorm, hopefully find, another Baleful Strix or something here. Okay, there's a Baleful Strix. I think we can probably put these Thoughtseizes away. I don't think their hand's too big of a threat now. That could be Hubris, but we're going to be able to draw cards and defend Tomio and then just go all the way up with her. Wasteland's a good draw in terms of just keeping them low resource. So we don't need to do any damage. Once we draw our deck, there's just no way they're going to be able to survive. We'll have so much counter magic and just other good stuff we can do. Bowmaster just cleanly takes this out. I will trade though when they attack. They're not even going to bother attacking. Okay. Plus here, I'm going to go ahead and waste them. I'm going to cage them. I basically do every disgusting thing I can. Lock them down. I'll just keep this. No point in attacking. I'm going to draw my deck. There could be some crazy plan that they're playing to. Yeah, that's fine. You want to deal some damage to yourself. Okay. I could have cracked and drew there. That was a mistake. Plus here. And we will pass. We can crack the clue in the end step. Well, I complained about our opponent not letting us play Magic the Gathering this game, but now I'm getting pretty tired of playing this game. Yeah, previous game. Okay, so just playing it out, that's fine. There's actually, I'm going to draw a card, so if I draw this, it is a net positive because I'll have 38 cards. So yeah, I might as well draw. Yeah, okay, they're scooping. All right. This is a hard mode right here. Come on, MTGO, you don't have to do this between every single game. Okay. So on the play, I don't think anything changes. We didn't get any new information. Oh yeah, I didn't even have the Orcish Bowmasters in my deck. So that wasn't something I was drawing to poke their creatures. But I'm not too worried about the contingency of us like dying to just random beats. Draft beats. All right, so we just need to survive the initial volley and get a cage or a spellbomb in place. There's a high likelihood that they're now playing Force of Vigor. Let's do our best here. Again, I don't like these types of just glass cannon matchups. I like playing against, storm decks and stuff. I think it's fine because there's less variance. But these decks are like so high variance. It's like you're just beholden to the top of your deck. And yes, statistics are, we have a 60% chance of finding a force for every hand when we have 6 forces in, I think. We check. So this is mulligan. You mulligan anything that doesn't have turn 0 interaction. I am going to keep this. They kept 7. They've kept 7 all 3 games. How allowistic can you be? All right. I think we just put the Wasteland back, and the Mockingbird is not spectacular here. We can just Underground Sea into Nile Spellbomb, and then we still have a Surveil. They can Thoughtseize an Orphan. Yeah, I'm a little worried about Thoughtseize potentially breaking up. Because then, if they Thoughtseize and they pass the turn, then it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I will put Mockingbird back for now. Borrower may, in some extreme situation, save us from death. So we have to force Thoughtseize because we have to get Nile Spellbomb in play. For once, keep a slow hand that doesn't just go balls to the wall. Oh my goodness, they did. Oh, they have LED. What does that mean? That means they're on Chella or Belcher, which means that Nile Spellbomb is not going to work. I'll just kill. I'll try to counter the Char Belcher itself. I don't have anything in my deck that gets rid of that. Well, I am going to still play the Nile Spellbomb, even though I know they have a second plan now. And if they have 4 mana and they can put it on the stack and they can, pact, then they can still win. Despite the fact that we had the Nile Spellbomb and they had a slow start. All right, there's a shock, so this means Dark Ritual is inbound. Cabal Ritual only gives them 3 mana. They could Thoughtseize here before they do something. Ritual again. It's fine. Yeah, it's really just going to come down to whether this works. I'll keep Charbelcher around. No, it doesn't matter to keep Charbelcher around, and Strix is a better card in general because it draws us to more action. If this gets countered, that's just the game. I'm so tilted. See you in round 3. It's worth noting that there was nothing we could have done there. Like, nothing, I don't think. You know, none of our decisions that final game mattered. Beyond the mulliganing. You have to respect that, yes, they're going to have a plan B, but you also have to keep, like, on 6 cards. You can't mulligan forever to try to sculpt, like, a triple force hand because you won't have enough cards at the end of the day. So, anyway, you win some, you lose some. That's what Lenny always says. All right, so let's do some research on jet lag. I played against them a number of times. They're likely on some sort of Esper tempo, Esper control, like similar to the deck that I played at Eternal Weekend. If you're curious, I've got a video about it. They're on the play. I think this is fine. We have potential Bowmaster Supremacy. I don't want to pitch cards or mulligan away cards. They'll likely play non-basics, so I might be able to cheese waste. Oh, or they could just be on Delver. Another bubble. Okay. All right. Don't waste Delver, as they say. I think we just chill. I mean, they didn't do anything, but that didn't mean they're the 3 cards they're going to draw between these baubles and their draw for turn that they're not going to like reload and find something. I'm not going to try to cheese waste. I'll just play it like this. Keep my cards close to my chest. Force always pitches Force against Delver because Force is a pretty bad card. There are situations where it'll be absolutely clutch, but in general, you don't want to be forcing Delver. And Forces often come out, but Thoughtseizes actually come out here. What does this say? What are the odds that they're Brainstorm locked? I'm going to do this. And then if they are Brainstorm locked, I'm going to waste them. They may seem like super aggro, but we do have days if we need it. Okay, they have the Wasteland. I'm so glad I didn't like fetch and days there. Okay, so I think that this may be their only colored source, so I am going to waste them here. I'm not doing anything. I don't have anything to capitalize. But if I can keep them from doing things for a turn, they are on a pretty low lane count. Yeah, let's see. Don't put any spells on the stack. You know, they don't know anything about what we're doing here. We can... do they have a land? Oh, they did have a land. Okay. Don't waste over, folks. Do as I say, not as I did. All right. So I think we do actually want to get the Underground Sea, and we just want a Strix. Strix is really good against them. Okay, hear me out. We bait them into wasting us with his Tomio. And then... no, that doesn't really make sense. If they waste here, that's fine. We'll have a Surveil to find another land. This Wasteland, as long as it's on the table, though, it does represent Daze Insurance for us. Okay, so here's what we could do. We could Fatal Push Tomio, and then Daze, and that basically turns 2 cards into a land. We're not immediately using either of these cards. I think it's fine to just let this go, though. There's a decent chance that they have a Bolt. Yeah, they do. Okay. Now that they have a second Wasteland, we're really looking pretty silly. But I do want to maximize looks for it. Perfect. Never didn't have it. So there's a very real risk that they have a Daze here, and we can't Daze back. I'm going to go for it. I'm not going to sit still. I want to develop, and I want to try to draw land. If this gets in, it's so strong. It didn't get in. Opponent's pondering. It's worth noting that if we mock one of their DRCs, our DRC is Delirious, which is nice. All right. Opponent is going to their turn, or to our turn. Okay. Now we're just sitting here doing nothing, staring at each other. Basically the exact same board, 4 cards exactly in both of our hands. I have 2 really good answers. Don't have an answer to... gosh. Yeah, there's nothing I can do here. If they put something on the stack that I can counter... yeah, now they can pay for it. It's catastrophic. Okay, so hear me out. We could prevent them. We could Daze to prevent them from... if we Daze, we buy a turn cycle. I'm going to Daze this just to keep that off my back for a turn. They can just pay for it, of course. But we get another surveil, and it'll hopefully get us closer to an answer. Okay. I think we are very dead here. I am going to go ahead and play this out and just try to dig. That is what we want on top of our deck. Sadly, it's the best we can do. I could go ahead and just Mockingbird just to have a blocker. But what I can do is let's see, next turn I can fetch Bowmaster, ping them, create a token, and then I can copy the Bowmaster. Doesn't seem that strong. 3 turns of survival. I think we need to play this out to be mana efficient. Just have our chumper out there, buy us a turn. It's like an extremely expensive time walk. And then it doesn't recoup itself like a time walk would. They just daze it. Okay. Well, we got a daze out of their hand at least, I guess. I mean, that's the daze that won't hit our Bowmaster. Our removal lined up very poorly against their one threat. Like, it's rare that Delver just doesn't play any threats and then just drops a Murktide. Usually this is like a 3rd or 4th threat that they've cast. But it did work out that way. So next turn, we're going to be able to fetch, and we can hope to maybe catch them off balance with a cantrip or something, but they have no reason to do anything other than just swing, pass, swing, pass, swing, pass. I'm ready to concede. Let's go to the next game. Okay. All right, for this matchup, which we've already faced a number of times in the previous video, we are just going to bring in, we take out our Thoughtseizes, we bring in our Hydroblasts, and we bring in Harbinger of the Seas. We take out a Force, and we bring in both Harbingers. This hand's perfectly serviceable. I'm going to fetch basics. So you may be thinking, oh, shouldn't you open with Tamiyo? We certainly could. However, if we wait a few turns, then Brainstorm can protect her. I think I'm going to open Island Ponder. Mouse Bomb. These are all insane cards. Strix is great. I think take them in this order. I don't want Strix to get dazed. Next turn, we can play at the Spellbomber on daze. In the following turn, we can play at the Strix. Delver's not the threat I wanted to see here because it's not the one that uses the graveyard. I'm just going to drop the Spellbomb, and I'll keep up Hydroblast. It's unlikely that they're going to do anything that involves Red Blast, but if they do, I want to make sure my blue's up. And then next turn, we can Strix, and hopefully they'll have only done 3 damage, or maybe hopefully 1 damage. We'll see what they flip here. Flips about 40% of the time. Doesn't flip here. Right? So when I put Strix on the stack, I am going to have a Hydroblast ready in case they have Pyroblast, which they're representing now. So far, I'm pretty happy with the relatively slow start they've had. So almost certainly get a Pyroblast if they have a Pyroblast, because if they let it resolve, I get a card. All right, I get a card. Another one. Love to see it. I'm just going to chill. I've got Surveil up. And I probably will Surveil. I don't have any more basics to fetch. Okay, it flips. A Braid. Okay, so I will Hydro a Braid if they try to clear the path. And that may get a daze, but then I can just Strix again next turn. Now they're getting their Wasteland online as well, which is bad for me because I have to fetch non-basic here, and they can waste, and then Baleful Strix is dazeable. But I am going to fight it. Because losing, like not fighting it, guarantees that I take 3. I mean, it's not guaranteed that they have a daze. Oh, wow, it worked. They're wasting. That's fine. You want to get a hug? I'll trade you my death for your death. All right, so I think they probably don't have a daze, and I think we're doing... Oh, that's a great rip. Let's do this first. Force. I think it's fine. The card they pitched is a Murktide. They could have a second Murktide, and I could regret not hitting their graveyard here. If I play Tamiyo next turn, I can protect her. I think I'm just going to chill, and I'm going to wait and see what they do. If they just play a land from hand, then they could play the Merc, which would be a 5/5. But if they don't, I could get extra value. No, I think it's correct to just go ahead and hit their graveyard now. Yeah, I don't want to chance it. Like a Murktide would be one thing that they could still have in their hand that could cause me to lose the game, even though I'm pretty far ahead. And that would also be a reason to force if they just had a double Murktide hand. Okay, another Strix. So allow this. And my goodness. My friend Matthew sent me a picture of like one of my videos, and I was up against like some sort of combo player, and I had like 2 Force of Wills, like 1 Force of Negation, and then like 2 Dazes and like 2 other blue spells in my hand. And my opponent said, how much? They said, hey, how much do you pay to get MTGO Pro? Bobble's coming through. They are refilling their graveyard quite quickly. They can get a perfect brainstorm if they want. All right, they're opting to redraw one of those cards. We're just going to start with the land. See what they do about this. I mean, there's definitely an argument that I could have pondered first to potentially find interaction in case, because I don't want to burn my brainstorm, which is about to, get my Tomio. I don't have anything to put back is the thing. Okay, so they did get something. Brainstorm, that's fine. My opponent did see Daze last game, so they could be planning for a world in which Daze is in there. Yep, they're selecting. Oh, they're forcing again? Down to 1 card. I wouldn't be surprised if they now have Murktide and they're going to go all in on Murktide. I think Tomio's the play here, and then we can attack and we can flip her. Gosh, what if they do have Murktide? Murktide would be pretty big, huh? Yeah, I think I probably shouldn't have played that. I probably should have pondered to try to find removal. Okay, 3. Okay, what's the DRC. Yeah, that's no problem. I can deal with that. All right. Yeah, I'm so relieved that it's DRC. I think they'll probably scoop here. And yes, I got the brainstorm too. And yeah, put the other Tomio back. This back. She flips. Right, and I'll just chill and I'll Bowmaster them in step. DRC will be delirious if they find another one. I'll go ahead and draw just in case. Okay, she's gone. But we did find an answer for Murktide. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Ponder here. I mean, these are answers. The Hydroblast is a fine card. We don't have a way to shuffle. I think what I'll do is I will draw the Undercity Sewer, and then I'll use it to put a Borrower in the graveyard. I think I don't really need the land. All right, I got the land anyway. I'll play it out. Ponder here. So we can lock them off a lot of stuff with Harbinger. I think that's correct. And we can shuffle away those other cards. They weren't that great. Okay. Now it's basically Murktide for bust. Delver would be great for me. It's fine. They could, borrow and get access to colored mana that way. So my game plan from here on out is just get Bowmasters on the table and just keep hitting them. Basically. Make their cantrips uncomfortable. Predict is fine. They're going to get a couple cards. They're playing Predict, huh? Are they playing like the same list I was playing? It's a good list. They milled the DRC. Okay, now they're able to brainstorm. Man, I really wish I had this Bowmaster in play. Would have triggered 5 times this turn. 4 times, I think. Okay, yeah, and then they played a land, which is great. So they didn't really need that land. It doesn't really do anything. Let's go ahead and hug. And then we'll Tomio, and we'll pass. And we'll hope to get them on the hook with Bowmasters. A lot of their best spells against us are red, though. Hey, we can just come in. Oh, I forgot to play with the Bowmasters. Sorry. My excellent friends, that was a very minor, hopefully a very minor omission. They fall to 12. Play another land. Okay, they're flooded. Flooded with all those islands. All right, the scoop. Let's go to game 3. Sideboard strategy felt fine. Just going to resubmit without having to resize my deck. All right, my opponent said, your list needs 1 basic mountain. So they're playing my list from the video. And I said, I think it's a trap. Only a mad lad like me would bring in a Harbinger against that list. But they said it works. It did kill, my bolts and my DRC. This is a mulligan. We need more colored mana sources. They may be right. Okay, Mockingbird, unfortunately, just isn't super strong here. I'm not going to put back the lands. My theory on Delver is you keep removal, you keep lands. This Not Spellbound is quite strong. I think we put away the Mockingbird. As much as I'd like to resolve it, I'd much rather reliably kill their stuff. So yeah, my opponent may be correct that it does need a basic mountain, but basic mountain and a Murktide deck feels really bad. I think it's kind of like a contingency. You have Red Blast, you've got all these things you can do. I am going to attempt to push here off the basic. Wow, that's a great rip. Kaito has entered the building. I just like to limit what they're able to do. If they daze here, that's unfortunate. They're really low on cards. They mulled a 5. Wasteland. You shall find no purchase here. All right. We can just get the island. Doesn't really matter what we use here. I'm going to play this out, and I think I'll just cast my Bowmaster around Daze. They didn't Daze last turn, but yeah, there's no actual reason to cast Bowmaster unless I'm killing something. And I shouldn't have to crack this for a few turns, but it's nice to park it there. Mana efficient during my Daze turn. They've got a lot of Wastelands. Harbinger. Wow. Yeah, this is potentially a good card to play here. I think I could waste the Volk. Just chill for another turn. Is that a mistake? They haven't done anything. My instinct is they probably have a lot of like Pyroblasts and stuff like that in their hand. They could just have a bunch of lands though. If we waste this, then we have a clear window where they can't Daze us. I think I like that. We already have our Swamp in play too. This is pretty perfect. I'm going to go for it. All right, and now we'll see whether they do indeed have any more. All right, so now we've got a clean kill shot with the Harbinger here. Yeah, and I think that's the play. Oh, we even have a force to back it up. I'm going to get an island. Man, it's so interesting that my opponent and I are having this discussion, and I genuinely do believe, like I'm not trolling them, I genuinely do believe that Harbinger's not that great against Blue-Red Delver, but I'm about to potentially win with it twice in a row. Be excellent, cast. Be excellent. I love it. I love never change MTGO. Okay. My opponent's probably see, like told you. Yeah, sorry. I don't think it's correct to play Basic Mountain. I'll just leave it at that. Like this is don't fall into result oriented thinking. Don't think that just because your opponent has it twice. I guess the real question is, do we force here? If they force, I think we probably do. They're restricting our mana. That makes sense. It's in. I mean, now they do have an island, though. They didn't have one earlier. But we don't have to worry about them murking. They wouldn't have done that if they had a murk in their hand. There's Delver. That is... Technically, they can Daze my Bowmaster now. So I do want to draw land if I can. What do we do here? I do want to kill this pretty badly. But Strix draws this a card. I think Strix is actually the better of the cards here. But if they have a bunch of cantrips that we just unlocked... Yeah, I need to kill this thing. Maybe I force if they Daze. Okay, you're forcing, I'm forcing. Bye, Kaito. We'll see you later, hopefully. We got one more in the deck. Okay, this is too much of a blowout to pass up. You always have to do this if you get the chance. They could just untap and Murktide. How do we feel about the risk of that? I don't think they have a Murktide in their deck. If they do, we do have the Strix and we'll just be in a holding pattern. I think that's fine. Okay, they did find the land. So market is a risk here. Okay. Yeah, that's not that big of a deal, I don't think. This is mean, but it needs to be done. That was an absolutely brutal play. Okay, so we have pressure. We've got lots of interaction. They're very far from casting that out. They've got one card in hand. I feel like we're pretty far ahead. We will recast the Harbinger once we find another mana source. Let's ponder first. Okay, I do want that land. These fatal pushes are quite nice. I can go ahead and flip Tomio now, but I don't really want to. They're definitely in a bad place that was a play that made sense. Like, I'm trying to imagine what's in their hand. They're getting beaten down. It's a slow beat down, but it is a beat down. Tomio here. Just add a little bit more tinder to the fire. Okay, they did find another Wasteland. So they're vindicated in their decision to waste me and keep me off of Harbinger. But they're going to need find another land pretty quickly with the pressure I have. They said, good games, your list played well. Yeah, we just bullied their mana base with the Wastelands and the Harbinger. But yeah, sometimes you get Delver. Sometimes you get Delver. Sometimes you get Delver. See you in round 4. Round 4, we're up against an unknown opponent. They've already mulliganed. I think we keep this. This is a perfectly good hand. I just hope they're not on oops. You never can tell when you're on the draw. Like, this Thoughtseize will completely collapse oops, but if they are on oops, we could lose. Bloodstained okay, so it's not oops. Swamp. Thoughtseize, all right. Well, I'm going to Thoughtseize you back. They're down to 4 cards now. Chose Brainstorm. Okay, interesting. So I don't think they're a combo deck if they're choosing Brainstorm over Thoughtseize. Okay, never mind. They are a combo deck. Are they just going for it now? What? Okay, what do they have in their hand? Do they just have 2 lands? They just want to minimize the likelihood of me finding something? Well, I can't do anything now. I might as well play this out and just Thoughtseize them. I don't think putting a Tamio is going to be particularly impactful here. They know that we can take something. We'll just take the Ritual. So it's Black Saga Storm. They don't have anything going on, but they do have that Urza Saga, and we'll need to find a waste for it. All right, 1 unknown in hand. Boom shakalaka, perfect draw. Drop our Tom. He's going to get to reading. We are favored from here. If we get 1 more turn cycle, we can have Bowmasters up in case they rip a Echo or some sort of Echo enabler, but they don't actually have very much mana right now. It would need to be exactly Echo. Okay, this is great for us. We can even potentially double up. I'm going to play this. In this way, I can fetch Surveil. Well, I wouldn't fetch Surveil. I would just crack. Yeah, that was kind of a misplay. But I do want to have Bowmasters up in case they play their Bowmasters, which they may have one. And it's really good to Bowmaster when they are potentially... So, I think we could just instep. This keeps live the possibility of us finding a cantrip that can flip Tamio this turn. Okay, this is a bad draw. Might as well play this out. I'll just attack with everything. I'm not going to play the Mockingbird out yet because I may need to shoot an opposing Bowmaster. I'm just going to draw now because, again, if I find a cantrip, I want to crack it. If I find a Thoughtseize, I want to use it. All right, a whole lot of nothing. This is fine. Next turn, I will have the ability to just crack 2 clues and flip Tamio. Fetching. 3 cards in hand, all unknown. I don't feel completely naked because we have Bowmasters out, which does punish them drawing a whole lot of cards, but they could have some other combo here. We're high enough that I don't think they can just kill us with Beseech into Beseech. But they certainly could. So they haven't played a land yet, so if they get Gaia's Will, it's not that bad. They can Thoughtseize and put the Urza Saga into play and stuff. They could crack this and then... Okay, there's the Beseech. This is fine. So we're not in danger of getting stormed out yet. Oh no, if they get freaking... Oh, never mind. I was worried about what we died to previously, but Charbelcher, but they clearly have lots of lands in their deck, so... Song of Creation. Yeah, that's going to hurt. Okay. They are going and dumping their hand. So we get the triggers here. This cannot tap, so they need like exactly a 0 drop here, or... Oh, well, they have 3 mana, so a lot of things can do. If they can find a Veil, they can win. Okay, another one. Okay, we got it. I'm not sure why they scooped, because they could have kept going a few more. Oh, they drew the cards and they whiffed. Okay, cool. Yeah, Song of Creation. Kind of dangerous sometimes. Alright, I'm gonna go back to displaying the cards because I think you want to see what I'm bringing in. Okay, so against Storm, all 4 consigns come in. Both Force Negations come in. There's an argument for Harbinger. I mean, it does stop... I mean, it really screws with their mana, potentially. They do use their mana. They're not like a turn 1 combo. They're like a multi-turn combo deck. I think we can safely take out Fatal Push. They may have Bowmaster, but we've got other ways to kill a Bowmaster. I'm going to take out the Spell Bombs. Mockingbird's not at his best here. Yeah, I think we just keep it like this. I'm not wild about these Baleful Strix. If they have their own Bowmaster, it can be a huge liability. But again, Mockingbird does kind of give us one more angle to get Bowmaster Supremacy. We can just copy their Bowmaster and ping theirs. This seems like a good hand. We're on the draw. We're just going to have to hope they don't turn 1 us. Yeah, I think this is a keep. I'm just going to like really quickly keep so that way they feel very so it looks confident. Is this actually a keep though? It feels like it is. I wouldn't mind just... Yeah, I think this is much better. This is a Thoughtseize plus Force hand. We can put back one of these lands. We could save this shuffle for later and we could just open Underground Sea since they're unlikely to have waste. They mulled a 5. Let's see if they glass cannon us. I will be there to sweep up the pieces. That's annoying, but I'm not going to force it. We'll just try to gate them on other things. Perfect draw. My goodness. Exactly what we needed. Now we can Thoughtseize and still deny the mana. This is our only non-island land in our deck other than Wasteland. So it's pretty clutch that we were able to go get it. Dodge the Veil. Feeling good. Not worried about Urza's Saga yet, but it will be a problem we'll have to address. Yeah, ripping a Veil out of your opponent's hand is always a good feeling. Because that would have been a brutal 2-for-1. Right. Can we get lucky enough to find a waste? I don't think we're going to do it this turn cycle. We could just deny the mana long enough for them to not create constructs. These are going to be pretty beefy. They might have to Dark Writ to get a construct if we just play a fetch out and don't crack it. Alternatively, I think we just consign the ability to make, and then we don't have to worry about the actual constructs and they're stuck with Dark Ritual in their hand. Then we still have this fetch surveil later. Because we're not going to be able to find... Yeah, we're not going to be able to find a Wasteland this turn. Because we'd have to use blue, so we'd use our land drop already. I will just replicate just because I don't have anything else going on here. So I'm going to let them make their mana of whatever color they want. Probably black. And now we're going to go ahead and... Boom, boom. I will replicate once. I think replicate is broken. So this is the second time that I was playing a league earlier and like I replicated and it just didn't work. Like the replicate never went on the stack. Yeah, I think it may just be broken, which is a bummer because it's kind of important that you're able to multi-counter because it's the whole point of consign. Yeah, because replicate is supposed to go on the stack before the actual countering resolves. All right, I'm going to look for a Wasteland would be great. The reason I'm excited about a Wasteland is I can waste this and then they have 1 mana to go on for the rest of the game. Unless I play more land, which I don't really need to play more land. Orcish Bowmasters is not the worst here. Okay, so hear me out. I'm just going to play the land. Because I want to ramp up to Kaito. They don't seem to be showing any cantrips or anything. They may not have cantrips in their deck. I think I take this Ponder just to have a backup card for Force. Because I want to actually get Kaito on and close the game quickly here. Since I'm giving them mana. But now we have Tamio on the table. So they get a lot of mana. But again, as long as... Like Urza Saga, what does this get? Like a Mox? I'm not sure what they get. Like a Pithing Needle? I can't imagine a combo deck playing Pithing Needle here. So next turn we Kaito. We start drawing like crazy. Just grabbed a Bobble. That's fine. We did shuffle away the Bowmaster on top of our deck, so... I'm just going to come in for a hug, and I won't play a land out until I'm confident that I can multi-spell. This will be my first time playing Kaito against a combo deck. Well, it's not necessarily true, but like historically, I've always had Kaito in the sideboard and not been brave enough to put in main deck because he's kind of bad against these combo decks. Like this is powerful seeming, but the stun ability doesn't even matter against their deck. It's really just the surveil. I think Consign's good enough. Just in case like one ring or something. I think it justifies playing at the land. Even though Replicate seems to be broken. And we're just going to use this as a Howling Mine essentially. Drawing a card. You've got lots of mana, nothing to do with it. That is very good for us. Oh, they are adding the mana now. And they're just burning it off. It's pretty good. Alright, we're drawing Brainstorm here. I would love to find a Wasteland. It doesn't really matter that much though. I think, yeah, we just keep hitting and surveilling. If I can find Wastelands, I will play them out. Neither of these cards are that important. If we could bounce this out of play and waste somehow, that would be worth it. So I'm going to put this into my graveyard. I'm going to put this, I guess, into my hand effectively. And now, I could go ahead and flip Tamio now. I think that's probably fine. We're still keeping tons of mana up, so. Looking for Wasteland. Okay, they just scoop. We've got a lot of momentum and stuff. All right, we are 3-1. Losing only to the luckiest Oops player which I'll stop complaining about. Like, never had a mulligan with the deck that is designed to abuse the London mulligan. Okay, this person, PWM, I think is pretty good at this game. I seem to recall. I played them before. They don't have a lot of recent finishes, but I believe they were on Sneak and Show last time I played them. It's been a few months. So we're on the draw. This hand's super flexible. Yeah, I think it's totally fine. This is good against like half the meta. Okay. I am going to be brave. Underground Sea here. Like, I feel like if they were Delver, they would have had a turn 1 play of some sort. And I'm going to need all these colors probably. Thoughtseize is very powerful. It's basically the best thing you can be doing. If they stifle me for some reason, I'm going to force it. Interesting play. Yeah. We're just going to hope they're not on. I mean, like, I'm kind of getting Dreadnought vibes. But if they force this, then we'll know that they're up to no good here. And we will let them force it probably. Actually, if they're forcing, we're forcing. I'll force pitching Baleful Strix and hold the other force. I think there's... Okay, Flusterstorm. That is something I cannot force, unfortunately. I mean, I can force it, but it wouldn't stop them from stopping me. All right, so that is definitely a Sneak and Show play. I don't think Flusterstorm is good at all unless you're trying to defend some sort of degenerate thing that you're trying to bust out early. Okay, this is the lane we can waste. All right, we're just going to waste and probably pass. I'll hold up mana just in case they have... Oh my goodness, so many Wastelands. I'm not complaining. I think it's going to be good for us. They're brainstorming in response, which is fine. This is giving them a lot of looks at some sort of disruption spell. I think as long as we curtail their mana, though, they're going to be forced to, play into Daze, which isn't actually well represented in our deck. We have 1 Daze in our deck. I'm going to go ahead and play this out because I can draw through it. And I don't think that they're likely playing Daze. They might be playing Spell Pierce, but they're definitely playing Flusterstorm, and I can't stop Flusterstorm. Flusterstorm is always 2 mana at a minimum. Okay, City, I'll waste that. All right, they could have Sneak. Show and Tell is going to get forced. They have the second Fluster. They have a force of their own. They have a Daze. Wow, I did not... Okay, well, that stuns me. I didn't think that their deck played Daze. Okay, so we're going to put our Wasteland into play, and we're going to learn a little bit more about their deck before we die. Oh, you can't... Oh, yeah, I do want to put a land in. Yeah. They have Omniscience. 2 cards left. Good game. Yeah, we can't beat that. Okay, so had I not played out the Nile Spellbomb, I would have potentially been able to fight back. They have 1 more card. We don't know what it is. I won't ask our opponent what is in their hand because it's kind of like fishing for information, and I want the game to be a fair fight. But it's quite likely that their other card in hand was just some redundant, land or something like that. Okay, so Harbinger, I don't like it. I think we just bring in all our forces, our Hydroblasts, and our Consigns. Consign, not great in the matchup, especially if Replicate's not working, but they sometimes do play 1 ring. Consign can notably stop an Emrakul trigger, which can't really do much, but it can buy you a turn. Like if you have like Brazen Borrower, I mean, Kaito can actually stun Emrakul, and we could potentially attack through and win against Emrakul. Crazier things have happened. We need 3 more cuts. Baleful Strix can actually just block an Emrakul if you stop the Annihilator trigger with a Consign. I think Mockingbird is probably the weakest card here. And then Bowmasters is not spectacular. Maybe we do keep Bowmasters because it can put them on a shorter clock than they think that they're on. I do kind of want to shave a land here. They're not going to go after our land at all. We're on the draw, so we get an extra card, so we get an extra look at a land. Don't really want to cut any of the Wastelands, though. I think maybe we just cut the basic Swamp. So they could bring in like the Blood Moon card, but I think we have plenty of answers to it with our Hydroblast and our... we'll just fetch a Swamp, or fetch an island. Yeah, our deck is almost completely blue here, so... We still have the obligatory 14 initial blue sources. That's the important thing. Got to make sure you have 14 paths to a ponder turn 1 in case you need to fix your mana. Manipulate the top of your deck and manipulate your fate. Okay, our opponent disconnected, which may mean that they weren't able to successfully sideboard, which would give us an incredible advantage. I'm not sure if they haven't reconnected yet. This hand is fine. It has Tamiyo into Brainstorm. Consign, not spectacular. I don't want to throw back a hand that has this much cantrip action. Oh, yeah, they said that MTGO crashed and they weren't able to board. All right, so this is not a true game 2 because they're not able to board against us. They would probably bring in Pyroblasts, I would imagine. Maybe some other additional, like Veil. I don't think they're playing green, but that would be a card you could bring in for sure. It's basically like the best cards given to combo decks over the past 10 years. Actually, I think Cavern may be older than 10 years. Cavern of Souls has been incredible for Thoughtseize Oracle decks. And Veil is incredible for everybody else. I think I'm just going to lead with Tamiyo because she can do some serious work. I think they're unlikely to be able to contest it if it resolves. And we can Brainstorm and flip after we draw the thing and then shuffle away some of our redundant cards. So basically they have one turn to kill us before the advantage bar swings very far to our side. All right. Our little 1 mana Hymn to Torak that wasn't. They did think about it though, which makes me think they have a force. And it makes me also think that they're maybe scared of her. I would be. Like on an open board with a deck without removal. Follow up Consign. Let's go ahead and attack in and then I'll flip her. They may just counter my Brainstorm. Okay, it resolved. This is phenomenal. We don't need all these consigns. I'm going to put one back, and I'm going to go for the Thoughtseize here. They may assume that we have some sort of interaction. I should have maybe put back that land. I don't know. We have lots of consigns. I'm going to tap out a consign for Thoughtseize, though. It's worth it. And it's notable that I am putting myself kind of in the danger zone as far as like if they were to just untap Ancient Tomb, make us to the moon, we'd be in a tough spot. They are fetching. Okay, they're thundering falls. Yeah, it is kind of dangerous tapping out of consign, but I don't think they're likely to have a 1 ring next turn. And a lot of things they need to do. Yeah, we'll see what we can do in terms of damage here. It resolves. Don't have multiple enablers, please. Oh, they do have a daze. Okay, well. They set themselves back a turn to stop that. So it's unlikely that they're going to be able to. And Tamiyo's ticking up. I guess I could just regrow her. Regrow the Thoughtseize and cast again. They've been to Fluster. I want to get the Thoughtseize back. I mean, they couldn't have double days. I'm just going to. Because I might need to dig for a Wasteland here to take this off, depending on what's on their hand. Okay. So they have double force. So we just take the show and tell, and that solves initially the problem with show and tell. They could just rip another one, of course. This makes me want to go ahead and ponder for a Wasteland because they don't have another red source. Bowmasters speeds up our clock, but it doesn't really interact with it. They don't have any draw spells in their hand. Let's take a look at their hand again. Yeah, it's just force and yeah, I think we any order shuffle this and hope to roll higher. I'm going to go ahead and just go for this again. I'll get the island this time out of respect for Make Us to the Moon. I mean, these cards are fine. I want to Thoughtseize them again for sure. All right, so here's the clinch turn where a show and tell. It doesn't immediately end the game, actually. They just get Omniscience into play, and then they can cast their Force of Wills, but it is going to be a big pain. And I will take Omniscience this time, assuming nothing changes about their hand. Okay, they're doing a slower roll, which is great. They're worried that I might waste their Ancient Tomb, I guess. And I would. I would look for a way to do so anyway. All right. I'm going to start by plussing. That's locked in. I'm going to go ahead and Thoughtseize just in case they have Flusterstorm. I want it to resolve. This will also inform my Ponder. You're going to get Thoughtseized every other turn by me for the rest of the game, basically, with this Tamiyo out. I'm going to use it. Now, we're not getting any closer to winning the game, notably. Okay, they did find a show and tell. Holy cow. And they opted not to force? To protect? Okay, well, we're taking the show and tell. Can't risk that. Now I'll just ponder here. I mean, force negation is pretty good. They do have force of their own. I think we take the force negation. Next turn we get on the table with Strix. I'm going to be plussing this. Oh, man. They just have too many blue cards in their hand. We're not going to be able to work through those double forces if they find another show and tell. We can Hydroblast if they go all in to try to resolve a sneak attack. Then we'll have a turn because they're not going to draw both sneak attack and something to put in with it. So I'm going to do Hydroblast bottom, then Strix, force negation now. Pass. We've got two forms of interaction up, but only if they play things like One Ring. There's their Ancient Tomb on the table. Plus here. Let's go ahead and play our Strix. It is a extremely tiny clock. We're still a few turns from ultimating, but once we ultimate, the game's pretty locked. It's just surviving that long. Now that they have all this mana, we're getting lucky. Oh, our deck loves us. My goodness. I'm going to go ahead and Thoughtseize first. If they drew something dangerous, like they probably would have already cast it, but we could Thoughtseize, we could minus Thoughtseize again and just strip more of their interaction. Okay, they did find an Atraxa and an Emrakul. Wow. So they have oops all, interaction spells. We take one of their forces. We could regrow, get the other force. The thing I was saying earlier about Baleful Strix beating both Atraxa and or trading with Emrakul and Atraxa in combat is we just consign the trigger on either of these spells, and then when they attack, there's a Strix waiting. I think what they do most likely is they try to get Omniscience into play, but they've already lost two of their enablers for doing that. I'm so tempted to just go ahead and regrow the Thoughtseize and Thoughtseize them again. Because if we can strand them with all enablers, it's pretty greedy, huh? If we just plus, then we can crack a clue and get more mana. Yeah, we're pretty cold to a show and tell if they find their fourth show and tell, but I'm going to accept that that's a risk here. Just hope that they don't find it. 2 cards in 48, not super high likelihood of them finding it. We can deal with the other cards that they could have. Okay, they drew Ancient Tomb for turn. So we're going to draw our deck. See, 40 cards. It is worth drawing a card because it gives us 1 extra card. So now we draw to 38 cards and we get 19 cards. Let's do that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I have plenty of time. I'm just going to sort my deck. I'm getting lag. Okay, yeah. We totally had that one. Okay. Giant deck is back. I hope MTGO fixes this. It's ridiculous that the default, what is everybody playing on 8K monitors or something? Why would that be the default size? Okay, so I don't think we change anything. Yeah, Baleful Strix is actually surprisingly relevant against their threats. And I do hope it comes up that we're able to throw a Baleful Strix in front of what they're doing. No other changes needed. Let's do it. This hand's a keep. It's got the Tamio Brainstorm combo. We've got a Force. We've got a Bowmasters, which is probably not a big deal. Brazen Borrower is not bad. We've got a Wasteland. I'm going to keep this. Brazen Borrower is probably the Force pitch just because Tamio Ultimate is a legit threat. I'm tempted to just open Wasteland. Because what if they do have fast mana and we're just 1 away? Yeah, I mean, if we do a turn cycle, then we get an extra clue with Tamio and advance our plan. And then we can just waste next turn. We don't have anything going on next turn. I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to get the island just so in case they drop the Blood Moon somehow. They'll be like, rats, you ruined my perfect plan. Tamio can't be flustered, which we know they're playing Fluster. They could Pyro her, though. The correct time to Pyro her would have been on the stack. But technically, it's not like there's a blue spirit guide that we could have pitched to Brainstorm. Modern Horizons 4, baby. I'm pretty sure they'll never do that. Fetching. Okay, they have the mana. Scary time. Freaking scary time. I'm going to have to pitch Force. Or pitch Brainstorm. Oh. All right. Yeah, not the end of the world. Daze is a great pickup. Gives us a second form of interaction. Do we subtract? There's a decent chance that there's going to be a cantrip next turn. They didn't cantrip the first turn. I think we Bowmaster this turn. And then this also keeps up Brazen Borrower as a point of interaction in case they put some lethal attacking threat in. Well, it probably won't actually matter because it'll be an Atraxa or an Emrakul, neither of which we can control. Now I feel less dumb for not playing the Wasteland. Cantrip. No, don't do it. I think it's Brainstorm. No, it's got to be Borrower, and here's why. I don't think we can meaningfully interact with Omniscience because there's no window. They can just immediately start casting Emrakul, and then there's nothing we can do about Emrakul. Brainstorm does give us another look at interaction. If they fluster here, that's fine. If they daze or something, that's not as good. If they pyro, okay, there's the pyro. They went very low resource to do that. Oh my goodness. I'm going to Brainstorm away this island, I think. I get a shuffle. I can put away some of these bad cards. Oh, we would have gotten there anyway. My goodness. I think they're so low resource that Wasteland is a keep here. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to shuffle. I think what I'll do is I'll probably waste and then I will Bowmaster. Maybe I need a Bowmaster to get the clock started, which means we could just get Underground Sea and then we could Bowmaster next turn and then we can shuffle away this island. We'll draw more land later, but that means Strix isn't coming out. Sorry, buddy. I think you got to go back. We'll just redraw this island here. I'm not going to do anything. I do want that island. All right, we got a couple forms of interaction. They could just have a second show and tell here, but we know at least one of their cards is something that is worth putting in with show and tell. All right, here we go. Get our zoomies going with our Bowmaster here. And I think at this point, we might force to protect Bowmaster just because it represents, like, I don't think they're going to be able to remove it now that it's resolved. Like, almost always they just interact on the stack. Yep, everything has worked out really well this game. But yeah, knowing that we had that force in our Brainstorm is like such a relief. Because I like to always win with a force in hand. Like, there's this old saying, like, the best force of will is the one you never had to cast. And I think that's just because that means you like won by a huge margin if you still have a force in your hand at the end of the game. We'll see what our opponent rips here. They may have been looking for a land. The bad news for them, of course, being that we are about to strip them of one of their lands using the strip mine that's legal in all 50 states and legacy. Harkening back to my homeland of Dust Bowl, Oklahoma. All right, let's waste them and let's swing for 5. And they're on like a 3-turn clock here. Cantrips hasten their demise. I'm just going to hold up the consigns. I'm not going to ponder here because I think it's important to have 2 points of interaction. I don't want to go off. That daze, how good is the one of days? The trolley days, you know, like that daze was absolutely clutch. I genuinely think that there's like so much upside to playing even one days. And you don't need to go the full 4. Like the first one has the highest marginal value, in my opinion, because it forces your opponent to play around it. Stifle's the same way. The first Stifle has the highest marginal upside. However, I don't think Stifle fits in this deck because this is not a tempo deck. But Daze doesn't necessarily need to be a tempo card. It can just be kind of like a 5th Force of Will, which is what it is in this deck. Don't play Force Negation. Play Daze. Daze can hit any spell, not just non-creature spells. And it can be cast at any time, not just during your opponent's turn. Brainstorm, yeah. You're putting yourself to dead on board. And we don't even need to point these at them because they're probably just going to concede if they didn't find it, and we'll know if they found something by them not conceding. So I'm just watching their clock, waiting for it to stop. All right. 4-1 denied the trophy yet again by freaking Oops All Spells. How many trophies have I lost because I had 2 points of interaction like you're supposed to have against Oops All Spells? But no, they had, they still had the pact. Ban pact. Hashtag ban pact. All right. Let's jump over to the list. Seriously. I've whined and whinged and bitched and moaned enough about Oops All Spells. I'll spare you. Let's take a look at the actual deck that we're playing today. This Kaito Mockingbird. So we didn't get a lot of Mockingbird action today, but it is a freaking awesome card. I love it. I'm picking these up in paper. I'm going to play at my local tonight and have a grand old time. Stoked, super fired up, super jazzed, super pumped. Great Netflix series if you like watching Tech Bros Meltdown. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, observations about the deck, like for Thoughtseize. We Thoughtseized that poor Signature player like 3 times in one game, maybe 4. Yeah, Thoughtseize is cracked. I just got my retro border Thoughtseizes, the Time Spiral remastered ones, and I jammed them into my deck so fast, and I was just like, yes. My deck is almost completely retro border. I'll make like a video sometime where I actually show my physical paper cards, but it's all retro border, all FBBs. And I love it. And like that's how I roll. Like as many retro border, like I'm always really like whenever a new card like Tomio gets printed and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like $50. And then of course they a few years later print the retro border version and that's like $50. I've got to sell my old Tomios to get the new ones, and nobody wants the old ones because they want the retro border. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I got retro Strix in, of course, Days. I have this version of Brazen Borrow. This is my favorite, the Fairy Tale version. Obviously, Kaito doesn't come in retro border yet. I got the original Therese Nelson. Not my favorite person, but you got to separate the art from the artist. She's got amazing art. And then Fatal Push. They haven't printed a retro border Fatal Push yet. Everything else retro border. It's now Spell Bombs. I need to like go and retro out this once I get the MTGO Creator Program, which they'll someday open up applications for that, and I should qualify. I will get like just be rocking like the retro border versions of everything on here because I love the way it looks. I love the classic 1990s aesthetic of the swirly blue. Let's see, do we have a swirly blue? Yeah, look at that swirly blue frame. I just want to see that same exact frame. I want to pay so much money to see that frame around my cards. All right. So I hope you don't mind my son playing so much piano in the background. I hope you are well and drinking lots of water and getting 8 hours of sleep a night. Please do not skimp on the sleep. If you want to be the very best Magic the Gathering player, sleep is an incredible input into that. And hopefully you just have the right frame of mind and you just feel present and focused because you got plenty of rest. So don't skimp on the sleep and treat yourself well. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.